What's up, you guys? It's the Authentic Empress. So, earlier today, I was thinking about Yeshua and the life that Yeshua lived, as well as more so how he transitioned. So, if I was to just be completely blunt and straight to the point with y'all on this topic, it's more so about, when you really think about it, Yeshua was sacrificed in the manner of many of our ancestors, like the way our ancestors were sacrificed. Okay. There have been a heavy emphasis on crosses. It's like my ancestors, the divine, they've just been emphasizing crosses to me during my travels and stuff for work. And a gift, or rather an attunement of my, or I can channel the energy of a location when I'm there or when I'm passing through. I remember some years ago me kind of like paying attention to the placement of certain things, especially involving post offices. You know what I'm saying? Like how the post office is always nearby a church, and that church may be nearby, especially, growing up in the South, okay, in South Carolina. I remember there would be railroad track, church, post office, all within proximity. Something else that I noticed, something that used to stand out to me a couple years ago as well, being here in Georgia, and considering all the missing children and stuff, is, how they talk about like the tunnels and trafficking through tunnels. I don't know if you guys ever come across information like that, okay? But yeah, the sewer system. I remember just, my spirit team just kind of just putting that at the forefront of my mind for some time back when I was doing back when my readings were more focused on like what's going on around us, opposed to honing in on like relationships or like personal connections, right? But more so what's going on around us, like the more heavier things, is where a lot of my readers used to focus. And I can tell by how they've been calling out to me, is going back in that route. Okay. For example, school shootings and stuff like that. I remember, just conversing with my guys, and, them telling me that, sometimes those school shootings are actually orchestrated, and they're orchestrated in order to kidnap children. Okay. So again, just going back to me being able to just channel the energy of a land, okay, an environment, a place. So I passed this church today or yesterday, and I always feel like an eerie energy when I see those churches that have crosses in like in the yard or like in the front of the church, and especially the ones that have crosses with hooks on them. Like, what the fuck are the hooks for? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's sketchy. Like, it'll be like a loop or like a loop or a hook or chain on both sides of the damn cross at some of these churches. And in a lot of cases, when you observe the land surrounding that church or those churches that have the crosses, um, the land looks like it could have been like an old plantation, or you'll just see some abandoned structures, or just it's giving that this is where slavery heavily took place, okay, in this environment. You notice how courthouses and police stations always just seem to conveniently be nearby a railroad track, and a post office. Like, why are these places always strategically, built together? You get what I'm saying? All right, so just putting that out there. But going back to Yeshua, how Yeshua, a lot of people would say that nobody has experienced pain as much as Yeshua. When you think about how they tormented him and, stuck nails through his hands and spat on him and hung him on a cross and tortured him. But what about our ancestors? Especially for those of us who are melanated, right? What about our ancestors as well? And this is not taken away from Yeshua, because Yeshua is not only our ancestor in spirit and, our family, our one, with the divine. But Yeshua is also an ancestor, you know, along with ancestors who have suffered very gruesome murders and torment, okay, at the hands of devils. What I was hearing, you have to bear with me because it's been a long week. What I was hearing from Spirit before I clicked on this live, when I was meditating on that, is the difference with Yeshua is Yeshua being one with the divine, being one with God. When it comes to that resurrection energy. And I feel like there's different ways that resurrection manifests when you think about it. When you think about our ancestors who died, okay, who were murdered, who were killed. The fact that we even, some of us have the understanding that our ancestors are still alive in spirit and they're with us, right? That resurrection, that's a form of resurrection when you think about it. Right? They're not really dead, their bodies are dead, but their souls are still very much so alive, and in a lot of ways they do live through us. I love how biblically it says how there are many angels assigned to you, and all this confusion, that gets projected onto us and try to condition us into not associating our ancestors with those angels assigned to us. But think about your lineage, your heritage, your ancestry. What exactly does that entail? You know, um, because if your ancestors are naturally by design assigned to you, connected to you, for example, like that granddad that you see in the flesh today, and when they pass on, then what? Like, are you just disconnected from your grandfather now that he's no longer in his flesh? Absolutely not. Just like how God said he knew us before we entered our mother's womb. So it's the same thing, it's just swapped, right? Like from the beginning you were in spirit before you was in flesh. You know what I'm saying? And so when you leave your flesh and you're back in spirit, it's the same thing. Some of us return to God, you know. But the thing is, what's truly important about being in the flesh and being here in life is being in God while you're in your flesh. You know what I'm saying? And that makes your transition more smooth. when you do leave this flesh, your transition is far more smoother. It's a smoother, more peaceable process when you are one with God while you're alive in the flesh. So again, like when Yeshua transitioned from that body, right, and resurrected, I feel, more so than anything, that resurrection was, him remaining one with the divine, returning from which he came, okay, which is that true life force energy, which is an energy that is eternal and it never dies, Yeah. Yeah, so they just wanted me to get on here and talk about that. And man, this shit is deep. This shit is deep. I'm telling you, like, for the most part, I end up having like a lot of wealthy clients. And, I'm in Georgia. Y'all know Georgia has a very gruesome reputation when it comes to slavery. And shit is so fucking deep. Like, it's just so, I feel like it's like I'm opening doors and walking into secrets, like chambers, like I'm walking into chambers of secrets, like, because even thinking about like February and how they try to do the whole Black History bullshit, you feel me? On February, in the month of February, when, we're all year round, like we're the all in all, the original. We're, and some people are going to be offended by that, and, I understand. But that's neither here or there for the nature of this video. What happened in February? Right? Because even when you think about Valentine's Day and Valentine, like the guy whose name is actually Valentine, and, that massacre that took place, or revolution, or, there was, this huge conflict that occurred. I watched this video and I love, she's a very nice content creator, and she means well, so I respect her. But she had posted a video about Valentine's Day, and one of the clips that she used was from the perspective of, I'm assuming, a Caucasian person who was addressing the quote unquote true origins of Valentine's Day. And y'all know, like, there's many different stories about the true origins of Valentine's Day, and anything where, truth is literally the key to free people from imprisonment of any kind. In a lot of cases, they like to pile layers of deception onto whatever that truth is, okay, with the intent for, people to not experience freedom or free themselves from that. All right. So, what really happened in February, with February being considered the shortest month in the entire year. February being made Black History Month. February being the month of Pisces, Aquarius, Pisces energy. What does that allude to? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about the Aquarian energy, that energy of rebellion, Uranus, radical change, radical shifts, like I kind of briefly covered on the last video when we was talking about the planetary transits. Okay, well, good for you. Congratulations. Anyway, that was weird. But even with that person making a slur of quote unquote touching themselves while I'm on this video talking about Yeshua, I feel like, you know, even that within itself alludes to the energy of a chosen one, you know, chosen people, chosen ones, you know. God's God's people, you know what I'm saying? And the blatant disrespect, right? I love my life. And I love who I am. I do. I do. You know, we're coming into a time where people who have been using victimhood as a ticket, who's been using that as a way into people's heart space or sympathy, compassion, you know, inauthentically. What's happening, or what always happens, is that these people end up, you know, truly being a victim in a situation where they find themselves in places where they really do need people compassion, they really do need sympathy, they really do need empathy, but they forfeited that with deception or with being deceptive or with abusing that energy with ill intentions. So there's a heavy emphasis on that energy going on right now, as well as those of us who's been victimized and we truly didn't deserve it. And, you know, our lives kind of curating our connections to people who are by design innately considerate of us, genuinely concerned for our well-being, okay, willing to accommodate us, opposed to you know, that one-sided energy of accommodation. But literally, think about what it truly means to reap what you sow, you know. So if you've been sowing those seeds and, you know, people have been, like how I'm on here talking about the divine, and somebody came over here talking about beating their meat and shit. Like, I'm grateful. Like I'm grateful to have like stuck around, you know, and that was inevitable. I won't go in no fucking where. But you know, when you're younger and you have such a powerful life path, you know, you get attacked very early on as a kid. And I was one of those people that got attacked early on as a kid. You know, whether people in my family or around me knew what all that you know, entail of or not. You know, I was having, you know, very like wild dreams, you know, wild dreams as a kid. Like, I think I shared on this channel one time before how one of my paralysis dreams, I saw this figure with an animal head, and it was just a silhouette, the shadow. The light in my room was on, and but the figure is like when it entered my room, it stayed on the walls and it just glided on the walls all across, and it was like it had to stay on the wall. And so it went to the corner of one wall and then got on the other wall, went to that corner, which I'm on this wall. So it was making its way to me. And, you know, I was calling my mom and my dad. Nobody came. I remember it was really, really dark in the hallway and my door was open, which was unusual. That was just never anything I did, okay? Because I would be too creeped out to leave my door open like that and it's just dark in the hallway. That's just not me. Like, my door would be closed. So, nobody came. And before I knew it, like, there's this hand that reached from up under my bed and reached over my abdomen. And, I woke up out of the dream, but when I woke up, my bed was shaking. Like, I can physically feel my bed shaking, and no one was in there. Like, it was vibrating. So I've had like very, very, close encounters, like in other realms as well as in the physical realm when it comes to spiritual warfare. From a very, very young age. When I was that middle school? When I was in middle school, I remember, just experiencing, some energy, and I felt the need there was this spirit casted upon me, or there was just some energy that I was dealing with when I was like 13, 14. And I remember, just being scolded, like normal. I would say that it's normal, like being scolded by your parents. But there was this one time I got in trouble and both of my parents kind of double teamed me type shit. And I remember I grabbed a cord nearby me and I wrapped it around my neck and started squeezing on my neck. And y'all, like, I never seen anybody do this on TV. I never had conversations about doing stuff like this. That's how I know it was a spiritual attack. And so couldn't go through with it. And so during that tussle with my parents, one of the pictures in my room had broken. And so I took some glass from that and started to I cut myself on my arm. Again, never seen nobody do it before, never seen it on TV, never heard anything about it. And so, where did that energy come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a spiritual attack. Like, I was dealing with some type of entity. Now, what I do know for sure in regards to me being exposed to demonic energy was that sexual assault when I was 8 years old. So there was definitely a door open, and not only directly from the sexual assault at 8 years old, but the place where the sexual assault happened. Man, my auntie was just so toxic. She was so toxic, and the household was toxic. Like, the music, the activity, the language, like, man, you know how people say somebody cuss like a sailor, or like, it was just extreme. Like, her profanity was just extreme. It was very extreme for me as a kid. It seemed like every other word, bro, like just very vulgar language and just that type of energy going on. And so I would go from being at her house to her daughter's house because her daughter's children was my age. They was the cousins that I would play with, and also the cousin that molested me. So just from being at this aunt's house to being at her daughter's house, there was a lot of toxicity going on, bro. Like, I'm saying, like, I seen the daughter getting her back beaten while I'm a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot. Her son, we caught him in the shower humping another boy. Like, it was a lot to be exposed to as a kid. Earlier today, I shared this video from Gifted Mystic, and she was talking about murder, murder in a family and stuff like that. And I shared it, and I was saying how this is my grandfather's story, and this is why I don't fuck with my dad's side of the family. And it's been up ever since because they've been trying to harm me and shit and frame me and all type of weird shit, bro. Like, because of inheritances and all type of weird shit. I even know that they're connected to my sister dying. And so when I left home and came to Georgia in 2021, like, man, that whole situation was just crazy as hell. Like, shortly before that, there was this time I got real sick, almost as if I've been poisoned or something. And I got through that shit, being that, at the time, I was like plant-based, like strict vegan and shit, so I did my due diligence, and I got through that shit. And man, it was just a lot, bro. Like, it was a lot. My dad put me out the house, and his whole reason for putting me out the house was because I cleaned the neighborhood, which is literally all that I did. I picked up trash from all over the neighborhood just to clean it up, on some, just giving back to nature. And because of this environmental project that I'm working on, and it was kind of like leading by example. So I did that. Mind you, this is, shortly after my grandfather passed and everything. And this is like when I started getting into tarot in this lifetime. And so he claimed that that's why he was arguing with me. He threatened me. And, long story short, I got put out the house like 11 o'clock at night. Literally over nothing. And so thankfully, I had some money. I went and stayed at my estranged aunt's house for a couple of days. They found out I was there and got in her head, so then I had to leave there. And I didn't know where I was going to go, but, my spirit team and Divine just told me to just, get some food, grab some clothes. You got some money, like, just drive. And I did that shit, bro. Like, I didn't know where the fuck I was going. I just drove, and I just drove until I was too tired to drive anymore. And I ended up being in Georgia. And so I had a Jeep at the time. Long story short, I was homeless like my first few months being here. And I was just in this energy of like, I'm gonna figure this shit out, really taking a leap of faith. And so I was figuring shit out, I've been figuring shit out ever since then, for real. But I've experienced a lot of weird, sketchy shit. I've experienced like several trafficking scares, at work, just weird activities going on. Like, there was this one time, before I actually found a place, when I was in my car, where these dudes was about to goddamn break into my shit while I was in it. Like, I've experienced a lot of shit, you feel me, all in the name of motherfuckers trying to like keep some fucking money, it's just crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy, man. It's like, the natural rejection and distaste that I had for Aunt Jackie and Aunt Callie. First, with Aunt Jackie, when my sister passed away, I didn't even like fully process the shit. All I know is when she came to me to try and console me, everything in my spirit just felt repulsed by her spirit. Like, I had no consciousness of, oh, motherfuckers doing root work, doing car accident magic, trying to get money and shit. For those of you, who seen when I spoke on my sister is retired, retired Air Force veteran. My sister was a boxing coach. My sister, had her own, literally, like, she was a basketball coach for some little girls basketball team. My sister had her own charity. You know what I'm saying? She would give brand new sneakers to homeless people in Georgia. Like, my sister was like a whole philanthropist in this motherfucker, like, and didn't have any of her biological children, but was everybody's role model, like, when it came to my siblings, and then some. Like, my sister was really like doing shit that nobody in our family was doing. And my sister is also a Life Path 33 like me, and they took my sister out, bro. Like, motherfuckers was buying shit with her money that she didn't even buy for herself, because she just wasn't really like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is wild to me, bro. Like, that shit is wild to me. That shit is wild to me. They tried to do this shit to my brother when he came to South Carolina from Georgia, right at the crossroads. there's a crossroads between my grandfather's house and my grandma's house. And right at the crossroads is a person who is a root doctor that lived right there at the fucking crossroads. And my brother got in a car accident right at the fucking crossroads when he was supposed to go back to Georgia. You get what I'm saying? Like, they try to get him. Shit didn't work. They try to come up with narratives and, as to why he got in the accident. Oh, he must have been on them pills. And this is their pattern. This is what they do. They try to do the same thing with me. My granddaddy wasn't no fucking fool, bro. They sat there in his face and called him a fucking vegetable, bro. And my granddaddy was fully conscious. And they just disrespected him like that. Don't get me wrong, bro. Like, I love my family, bro. And I understand the dynamics of everything. Like, I understand who was being controlled. I understand, like, who was pulling the strings. I understand all that shit, bro. But that shit pissed me off, bro. And it's not even just my anger. It's my ancestors' anger, bro. Like, my granddad is a fucking Capricorn, bro. My granddad is a Capricorn. Also a veteran. My sister is a Capricorn. Also a veteran. My last moment with my granddad, when he was alive, bro. That bitch. It was just me and my dad at my granddad's house. And my granddad lived next to my father's house. So, my dad was sitting in the living room. And I was in my granddad's bedroom with him. Just talking to him, chilling with my granddaddy. And when my Aunt Jackie got there, his whole demeanor changed. And it's like, I don't know if it was like telepathic, but I understood why. And I said to him, like, I kind of just consoled him and, like, just said, I know you ain't really feeling her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even have all the information. You know what I'm saying? But I know you ain't really feeling her, but, you just got to get through this moment right now. You feel me? Like, whatever. But he just completely shut down, like, when my dad said she was outside. So, boom, I sit down, I let her do what she do, because she was supposed to, quote unquote, be like a, one of his, I can't think of what it's called. Because my granddad was bedridden at the time. So, anyway, she was trying to give him some mashed potatoes. And my granddad had asked, he said, what's in it? And she ignored him and was still trying to feed it to him. And she ignored him, right? And so I was like, I want to know too. And she was like, you want to know what? I said, well, your dad asked you what's in the mashed potatoes. And so she started flipping and spazzing on me type shit and tried to exclude me from being able to speak on behalf of or speak anything pertaining to my granddad, for the simple fact that they had knowledge of me smoking weed around that time while I was in school, while I was in college. A whole bitch who been popping codeine pills for years, hydrocodone. But, like I said, this is what they do. This is their tactic to try and, rid you of credibility or whatever, bro. So she started this big altercation with me, and she was able to puppet my father. And so they both called themselves trying to throw me out of my grandfather's house. And so now we moved from his room to the kitchen because, again, she was trying to get all loud and stuff with me. So I walked out of my grandfather's room because that was a lot of energy. I didn't want that around him. And so they kind of just followed me into the kitchen or either pull me. I don't know. They was trying to shove me out or pull. It was something like that. And my granddad had sat up and yelled and said, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Like, we're just saying to leave me alone. And I told my granddad, I said, calm down, granddad. Don't worry about it. I'll be back. And I looked at my dad And I said, I don't need y'all to touch me. I can let myself out. I went over to my house, and my natural reaction was to find my mom, like go straight to my mom. My mom was in her bathroom at the time, and when I got in there with her, I just broke down and I told her what happened, because it's like my dad wasn't my dad. Like it's like he wasn't himself. It's like he was possessed. And that whole altercation was just so fucking strange, bro. Like, and it just felt demonic as fuck. And mind you, these are people who raised me when I was a baby, a kid. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, that was very overstimulating. I felt very overwhelmed because their anger towards me didn't even make sense. It didn't even make sense. When I say my granddad is so strong, like, when they was seeing that stuff in front of him, and me and my granddad had conversations just between me and him, so I know the type of person he is and what type of man he is, like, he's like a man's man, you know what I'm saying? And so he refused to be put in a home. He was like, no, I have a house. Why the fuck would I go to a home or a nursery home? I have a house. I'm gonna be in my house. Like, and so he stayed in his house, despite them trying to, you feel me? And so, well, my dad, it's like my dad energy just shifted. Like, my aunt was a handler. Like, he was cool. He was himself until she got there, y'all. I'm talking about, like, she in there trying to feed him some shit, not telling him, not answering his questions, acting like he out of his mind. He come in there on the phone, I guess, talking with a potential home or whatever, and talking about my granddaddy in his face, like my granddaddy don't understand what's going on. Like, just disrespectful, And so I'm sitting on the side getting triggered with my granddad. Like, me and my granddad both getting triggered by what the fuck is going on in front of us. And so I'm just like, I'm observing. Like, I'm just observing the energy. Like, what the fuck what y'all got going on? What? Especially my dad. Like, why are you doing that in front of your dad? Like, why are you talking about him like that in his face? And y'all, when I say my granddad just stonewalled, like, he just stonewalled the whole energy. Like, he was just, like, he just clocked out. Because he knew what they were doing. Apparently, they've been doing this. That estranged aunt that I went to, I didn't even plan on talking about this shit, bro. That estranged aunt that I went to. Me and her had conversations about similar suspicions about these particular family members, and she told me about how my Aunt Jackie ain't like her, ain't never like her type shit. Now, the whole scandal between my grandfather and my grandmother is, cheating shit. So my grandfather, suspected my grandma, stepping out on him. He stepped out or whatever. People have their narratives, they try to create confusion and distortion around the narratives of who did what first. Right now, my grandparents are separated, but they were not divorced. My grandmother refused to accept the divorce. My granddad then, got him a girlfriend. She had a whole man living in the house with her, but she refused to, divorce my grandfather, right? So, but earlier in their relationship, when the infidelity and stuff started occurring, my granddad had a love child. That love child is my estranged aunt. The thing about that estranged aunt is that she, oh my God, that aunt compared to, it's like me and her just connected like this. And she's just so sweet. She's very beautiful. Like, she's aged but beautiful. Like, she looks so young and she's so beautiful. And just such a sweet person, beautiful family, all that shit. And, they was doing stuff to her too. Those same two aunts, Callie and Jackie, evil fucking twins. They was doing shit to her too. Mainly Jackie was doing shit to her too, preying on her marriage and want her to be heartbroken and left and lonely and sick and hurt and all type of shit. It's the same old shit. These same bitches hating on my mama. They hated on my mama when my dad brought my mama around because my mama was fine shit, like they say. Same old shit. Same old shit. Fuck them bitches. Fuck them bitches. I don't care nothing about them. I don't care nothing about them at all. Because they some raggedy ass hoes and they destroy everything they fucking touch. Yeah, I said it. And if y'all don't hear watching me, yeah, I said it about your grandma. Fuck your grandma. And fuck you too, bitch. What you gonna do about it? Fuck your mama. Fuck your grandma. And fuck y'all too. And I mean that shit. Fuck y'all little fake ass posts and videos and photos. Y'all trying to act like, oh, y'all was so close to granddad. Y'all trying to act like y'all so close to granddaddy's sister or whatever because y'all trying to get a cut of her will too. Fuck y'all bitches. Fuck y'all. Because y'all two-faced as fuck. Your mama two-faced as fuck. Your grandma raggedy as hell. That's a shame. Like, you done... you just... I love my cousin Tubu. Okay, I feel like he probably like the closest, about the only one normal out of her fucking children for real. Because she did some damage to her own fucking kids. And, you know, children gonna love their parents, you feel me? But, shit, if they was really real for real, they'll admit it too. Their mama crazy as hell. She ratchet, she toxic, she's a evil motherfucker. Evil as fuck. It's so sad. Like, what you did to your daughter, bro, is sad as fuck. Your daughter out here, she don't even look like she's alive. She been looking like a zombie for decades. What the fuck have you done to your children? What the fuck have you done to them? What the fuck have you done to them? That shit is sad. Uncle Gerald, fuck you. Fuck you. You fake ass pastor ass nigga. You nasty pedophile. Oh, you nasty perverted ass bitch ass boy. Bro, you're fucking delusional. You're delusional. Callie is delusional. Jackie is delusional. Y'all some delusional ass motherfuckers. And y'all are frauds. And I saw y'all criminal records. Yes. Y'all got fucking records of fraud. You have a history of fraud on your criminal record. Fucking thieves. They get on my... Oh, boy. I swear, bro. Pastor my ass. Don't make no fucking sense, bro. I'll never forget the look on my uncle. Uncle's face. One of my uncles who's actually innocent. On the last night of the... What do we call it? The sitting up or whatever, what black people call it. When somebody passes. The last night, I just so happened to go in my granddad's house when my uncle was sitting in the kitchen by himself. And he was just sitting there like in tears. And I checked on him. I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? No, I didn't even say that. I said, are you okay? You gonna be okay? And the only thing he could say to me was, I can't believe they did that to my daddy. So while y'all went on this whole little mission and shit to try to get rid of me, get me out of the picture, have something happen to me, push me aside and push me out the way, Callie Purvis, Jackie Harley, while y'all create the goddamn obituary, you trying to make sure you plug my granddaddy last name to your name, and you try to talk about all your children, your grandchildren, and exclude all the rest of us out of the obituary. Public records. Y'all trying to act like y'all right there. Y'all was just, y'all want to talk about how y'all expedited his death for money? Y'all want to talk about it because don't piss me off. And yes, bitch. Yes, y'all under judgment. Yes. And guess what? You gonna die, Jackie. Callie, you gonna die before all your siblings. Everybody gonna watch y'all die first. Yes. Everybody gonna watch y'all die first. Since y'all want to expedite deaths for money. Since y'all want to play with root work. All your siblings gonna watch y'all die. I said it. I definitely said it. And who knows? I might not keep this video up. Because I didn't even plan on talking about this shit. You feel me? Like, what time is it? I'm supposed to be gone. I got on here to talk about how Yeshua was treated like a lot of our ancestors was. And so, when you think about his description in the Bible of what he looks like, and this whole argument about what he really looks like, y'all know that man. Y'all know that man was melanated. Think about the pattern of racism. All the innocent melanated people who were murdered, tormented, killed. Heavy emphasis on them being innocent. Innocent business owners, movers and shakers. Motherfuckers is jealous and intimidated, and so they want to destroy. They want to kill, steal, and destroy. Just like they did Yeshua. Right? Yes. What happened to Yeshua was very extreme. Okay, some very extreme stuff happened to our ancestors as well. I don't know. Y'all want to talk about... Ooh, what? Oh, y'all better listen. High priestess, bro. There's a lot of shit I do not speak up on publicly. There's a lot of stuff I don't. There's a lot of stuff I know that I don't reveal on purpose. I don't appreciate having that dream and that vision of you suffocating my... Oh my God, bro. Ain't it crazy how we always just happen to go to those places, or we happen to... Divine beings, the seers, we just so happen to pop up at these crazy ass moments where some shit is going down. Or when something just happened. We just so happen to be spot on. We just so happen to show up. The night my granddaddy died, it was around 4 in the morning. 3 something to 4 in the morning. I haven't been out to hang out with friends and like to party in years. Like I don't know, like I got turned off by it in college. And so some friends invited me to this 80s, 90s theme party. And I was like, ooh, it's 80s, 90s theme? Hell yeah, I'll go to that now. I fuck with that. I'll go with that. I ain't been out in years. I went out that night. Around 3 something in the morning, somebody shot a gun outside. And so they closed the place down. I believe that's around the time my granddaddy passed. Or when somebody did something to kill him. So we wasn't that far because we're in the country, you know, small town. By the time I got back to the house, when I pulled up into my parents' yard, mind you, my parents and my granddaddy's house is right next to each other. When I pulled up into my parents' yard, I stopped my car because I see hospice. I see them taking my grandfather out on the gurney thing, the stretcher, I don't know what it's called, but rolling him out on his front porch to put him into the back of a hospice van or whatever that shit was. Why was it pitch dark? Why didn't y'all have the porch lights on? Why was y'all transporting a body into the car in pitch dark, pitch black? I don't know. Now that don't make sense. So I creep my ass. I sneak up to my granddad's back door. Okay. I noticed, you know, I see people in there. Something stopped me and told me to just listen. So I stood at the door and I just started listening. And I hear the nurses basically tell my aunt and my dad that they need them to sign some paperwork to disposal the remainder of the morphine or some shit like that. So anyway, the reason why I stopped too is because it sounded like there was some type of prayer or something going on. And then that's when I heard the conversation about paperwork to dispose of morphine. So I went in there after. And like a normal person, like a pillar in our family just died. Like my granddad just died. You feel me? So even though there was like me and my aunt was at odds, it's still her father, it's still my granddad, and he just died. So I reached to give her a hug, to console her. Tell me why she just stood there like this, y'all. Like, okay, cool. I guess everybody grieve differently, right? I guess. But why are you just so cold about it? Like, why are you so cold like you don't give a fuck? Yeah, it's a lot of weird shit. My granddad's funeral, it rained so fucking hard that day. Man, the weather was fine. It rained so fucking hard that day. When a particular person got up on the pulpit to speak some words, okay? When a particular person got up, tell me why the lights shut off in the church. There was this huge thunder and lightning. Boom! Light shut off. Came back on. My first instinct was, that's my granddaddy. That's my granddaddy. Who's an earth sign. I'm going to reshare the reading that I did after he died. I'm going to reshare it. It's not an actual reading as like me talking. It's more so visual with me showing the cards, as well as my granddad's energy expressing itself through a nearby candle, a red candle. He was so mad, so angry that the candle exploded on my desk. Yeah. When I got access to my first Facebook page a few weeks ago, I went on there and, scoping around, regards to those family members, like on some Inspector Gadget shit. Like, what the fuck y'all got going on? What y'all up to now? Because I know y'all don't fuck with me, and I know y'all always up to something for a quick buck. So what y'all up to? And I seen this bitch with my granddad's sister. And I was like, so you really playing these games? Okay. My granddad's sister, who looked like she's close to transitioning, let's just say that, all of a sudden you in her life and you playing nursing. Oh, okay. All right, y'all bitches get on my fucking nerves. You better watch your sexual health too, ho. Yeah. Y'all, let me go. Let me go. Oh, I did not get on here to talk about this. But yeah, fuck them hoes. I don't know what you did. The baby girl, she been looking strung out for years. What the fuck did you do to her? What did your husband do? But y'all, like, what you do to your grandson? Shaking my head. What you do to your granddaughter and have her do what she did to me? And shit crazy, bruh. These bitches are going to die before all the rest of their siblings. Everybody's gonna watch them die. And God told me earlier today, y'all did all that for money and property and materials. And it's so crazy because I want to say they the youngest out of all their siblings. They the youngest, and they all gonna die before their older siblings. Ain't that something? Well, I guess this is like a little vent session. Okay, nah, facts. Man, heathens, bro. Straight heathens. Heathens and heathenists. Dead ass, man. Trifling, ungrateful. Shit, just greedy. Some greedy ass motherfuckers. Greedy. And that goddamn weird ass uncle trying to keep up with the young folk. Bruh, like, oh, all of a sudden you pull up in a brand new Mercedes-Benz shortly after my granddaddy died. Idiots, bro. That shit is wild to me. I think that was the first masculine lace front that I seen on my uncle. I didn't even realize this what I was looking at. Like, is that what that was? I don't even know what the fuck it was, bruh. That nigga just popped up out of nowhere, like, with... Man. That shit is wild to me. That shit is wild to me, bro. And what did you do to my aunt? Was you responsible for her death? Because she died laying next to you in the bed. What you do to her? And then you done married another bitch a couple months later. And then you left her because she wanted to suck your dick. So you left her cheating on her, but you're supposed to be a pastor. Yeah, again, here I am, little old me, being in the right place at the right time. And motherfuckers always tell me shit because I'm a light shining in darkness. And motherfuckers just expose, just reveal and tell me shit. So that new wife, whom you love because she want to suck your dick, who was initially my godmother, because her and my mother used to be best friends, but my mama, being a Scorpio, cut her off because of that foul shit she did, marrying your ass 3 months after his wife just died, who is also my mom's friend. So my mom cut her off. I just so happened to need, a place to be in North Carolina. And so I stayed with my godmama trying to figure out, well, damn, like, so y'all separated. Me and her have a one-on-one one night, and she tells me why y'all separated. She tells me how much of a perverted pastor that you are. This shit is just, this is a lot, bro. Y'all doing too much. Like, and I hope y'all did as much as y'all feel like y'all could do, because y'all gotta go. And y'all leaving soon. And that's just that. That's just that. And that's just that. And I don't give no fucks at all. I'm gonna do another reading for y'all, because this is